Think about a place you know perfectly well. Your old elementary school, a bustling shopping mall, or the brightly lit corridors of an airport terminal. When these places are filled with people, they feel entirely safe. But I want you to imagine standing in that exact same building at 3 in the morning. The shops are closed. The metal security gates are pulled down. There's no music. The only sound is the low electrical hum of the fluorescent lights above you, buzzing like a hive of digital insects. If you have ever been in a space like this, you know the feeling. The air feels heavy. The architecture feels slightly wrong. And deep within your primal brain, an alarm bell starts silently ringing, telling you that you are not supposed to be here. Psychologists call these liminal spaces places of transition. Hallways, waiting rooms, empty stairwells. Spaces designed for movement, not for existence. When you strip away the human context, these spaces stop looking like reality. They look like a hollow, artificial movie set. But what if that eerie feeling isn't just human psychology? What if your brain is warning you that the software of reality is struggling to render your environment? What if, in the absence of other observers, the physics engine of our world goes into a low-power standby mode, making the walls around you dangerously thin? Welcome back to the Cosmic Vault. Today, we are exploring the terrifying mathematics of unrendered reality. And what happens when a human being accidentally steps out of bounds? To understand how reality can break, we have to look at how we build our own digital worlds. In modern video game design, a developer doesn't render an infinite universe all at once. That would instantly crash the server. Instead, they only build what the player is currently looking at, using a trick called Occlusion Culling. They build the shiny floors, the bright sky, and the solid walls. But if you were to somehow force your camera behind those walls, you would find absolutely nothing, just a pitch-black, unrendered digital void. Sometimes, games experience a mathematical error in their physics engine. A player runs into a corner too fast, the geometry fails to compute, and they slip straight through the solid floor. In the gaming community, this is known as no-clipping. You fall out of the playable map into the dark, glitchy architecture underneath the game. In 1997, theoretical physicists introduced the Holographic Principle, a peer-reviewed mathematical model suggesting that our entire 3D universe is nothing more than a localized digital projection. If reality operates on a similar rendering logic, it must have a collision detection system. It must have boundaries. And just like a video game, if the system is overloaded, or if the observer is in an empty, liminal space where the rendering engine is running at low capacity, the collision physics could fail. Look closely at the walls of the room you are sitting in right now. Your brain tells you they are completely solid, but quantum mechanics proves that is an illusion. Every atom in that wall is 99.9% completely empty space. The only reason your hand doesn't pass straight through the drywall is because of invisible fields of electromagnetic energy pushing against each other. It is a biological collision mesh. So why does your brain panic when you stand in a brightly lit, empty, infinite hallway? Neuroscientists argue it is a failure of pattern recognition. The human brain is a prediction machine. When it sees an endlessly repeating pattern of identical doors, identical carpet, and identical lights, it literally cannot process the data. The visual input looks artificially generated. Your brain essentially triggers a software error message, flooding your body with cortisol and anxiety. But string theorists have a much darker explanation. String theory dictates that our universe doesn't just have 3 dimensions. The math requires at least 10 physical dimensions to function. But the other 7 dimensions are microscopically curled up, hiding in the invisible fabric of space-time. What if liminal spaces are areas where the geometry of those extra dimensions is bleeding through? The reason the hallway feels wrong is because your 3D brain is subconsciously detecting a spatial glitch. You aren't just standing in an empty room. You are standing on a weakened seam in the fabric of reality. If the seams of reality can tear, we would expect to see the evidence. And we do. Every year, hundreds of thousands of people go missing. Most cases are tragic, explainable accidents, but there is a highly documented, terrifying fraction of disappearances that completely defy the laws of physics. People who vanish in the span of 3 seconds while walking directly behind a friend on a perfectly clear, sunny hiking trail. No sound, no footprints leading away. Tracking dogs walk exactly to the spot the person was last seen and then sit down completely confused because the scent simply stops existing. Law enforcement calls them anomalous disappearances, but simulation theorists wonder if they are something else entirely. They didn't get lost, they didn't fall, they simply stepped on a spatial glitch. Imagine walking through a dense, quiet forest. You step perfectly on a patch of geometry where the universal server is lagging. The electromagnetic repulsion of the ground fails for 1/10,000th of a second. You no-clip. To the friend walking in front of you, you simply vanished into thin air. But from your perspective, the bright, sunny forest instantly disappears. You suddenly find yourself standing in an infinitely vast, perfectly silent, brightly lit corridor. There are no trees, there is no sky, just the deafening, endless hum of artificial fluorescent lights and the smell of damp, old carpet. The internet calls this unrendered zone the Backrooms. You try to scream, but the acoustics of the space swallow your voice instantly. You start walking, but every corner you turn leads to the exact same identical empty room with sickening yellow wallpaper. You haven't traveled to a different planet. You are still on Earth. But you are trapped in the unallocated storage space beneath the playable map of reality. Because you were never meant to be there, the universe has no physics rules to govern you. You won't age, you won't starve, you will simply wander through an endless, repeating labyrinth of liminal space. Forever. The next time you find yourself alone in an empty, brightly lit building, don't lean too heavily against the walls. If you thought this glitch was terrifying, click the playlist on your screen right now to see the other fatal errors we found in the simulation. Hit subscribe to join the cosmic vault before you step out of bounds. We will see you in the next dimension.